I think it will be good that we'll dive into the main session of the day, which is the live tech talk section. But before then, let me just introduce our speaker. Our speaker is one of the kind that I know some of us may not really too be familiar with him. So that is why it is necessary that I introduce him. And from my screen here, though, if you can read very well, you can see some of the things I've written down here about him. He's Engr Bashir and Ahmed Zeeshan. So we know him to be Baz. He's really someone who I get to know through the Huawei enterprise community. He's an elite user. He's a very great contributor to the support community in Huawei, and he's known by his work, by his, of course, black ink. That is his contribution. Of course, the red ink that shows how how helpful he is in the support community. He is a professional. He's a telecommunication professional with more than a decade of diversified experience of network planning, multi-vendor service delivery on M at ISP level for IP core, IT, cloud, and data center infrastructure. He's also, along that, he has, along that, with IoT and enterprise solution in terms of solution design and support. I'm just reading it from the screen. Academically, he holds a master in telecommunication engineering and bachelor degree in electronics with honors. So over the past 4 years, he has actually been training, teaching and consulting with the objective of improving productivity and performance of people. He has led about 50 trainings and section for customers and colleagues. He has designed, he has conducted several comprehensive full-day seminar and training for multiple topics for emerging technologies, say in IP networks, routing, multi-cloud, IoT, 5G, he has up to maybe 300 people in attendance plus. So he has a firm belief, and this is the reason why he's here. He has a firm belief in the needs of fostering relationship between academia and industry. He has taught graduates, courses at graduate level. He has supervised senior thesis and assessed final year projects at many different institutions. But one of the things that I so much love about Bashir, Engr Bashir, is that he has this eagerness to see that people improve. So in the support community, he's one of the most valuable engineers, support engineers in the community. And for him to be part of it, shows how committed to see that we grow as people. So without much ado, if I continue introducing him, will take much time. We are going to be dropping his link here, his social media platforms, and also his portfolio, and we can get to know him more. But without further ado, I welcome on stage, though on the screen now, I welcome on stage Engr Bashir to take it from here. Just as we tag this seminar, it's a 360 deep dive into the technology of cloud computing, and he's going to use this little time to take us around about what cloud computing is. So thank you very much, and I'll just give him the time to continue from here. So sorry, let me stop my presentation so that he can present. Sorry about that. All right. Engr Bashir, sorry for the...
Nagode Kame, thank you for the very detailed introduction, and I'm very pleased to have this session because this time for Africa. So I've been conducting trainings, as you have mentioned, and different platforms at Huawei and corporate levels, but this is my first time I'm presenting something especially for the Africa and especially for the Nigeria. So I hope that would be a great session, and let me share my screen so we can start further. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay, let me know when screen is visible to you, so we can start.
The screen is visible now.
All right. We can see your screen, sir.
That's great. That's great. So before moving further on the topics which we are having right now, so that is a complete deep dive session for cloud computing. But before going that, Kami, can you just allow someone to accept that notification because it's keep on popping time to time and it's a little unpleasing. Can you just allow someone to accept that notifications? Okay, thank you. So if we just go through the topic line, which you have just heard from Kami, that is a deep dive into the cloud computing technology. So we will discuss what cloud computing technology in whole this interactive session. But before moving further, let's little build up about this session, what this session and how we are going to involve in this session. So starting with the agenda, these are the 4 topics which we'll be covering during the session. So starting with the cloud computing, then brief discussion about different cloud providers, and then tips and tricks for career guidance and everything, and then we have a Q&A session. So I hope this would be the great interactive session, and definitely interactive means the two-way communication we can have. So if you have any question or any query, you can ask me during the presentation or after the session as well. But I would suggest you to just put your message in a chat box, and then we will discuss. And I'll allow someone in the end to open their mic, and then we can communicate and we can discuss the possible solutions and everything. So I hope that would be a great idea to continue. So after having the agenda, if it's a little brief introduction about myself. Most of them already covered by Mr. Kini. And my name is Bashir Ahmed Zeeshan, multiple certified, multi-cloud certified, and I have conducted many trainings. All the information is already provided by Mr. Kimi. And if you want to know more me about myself, you can follow me on LinkedIn. I'll share in the last, or you can scan from over here. So the session is all about around like 2 hours, but I'll be presenting for 1 hour, and then we have a question, and then there are some activities. So feel free to ask and feel free to contribute. Before going to cloud computing and everything, what I would like to have a little quick activity, and I'll share you a link, and you can share your response on that link. Let me know if you got the link. Yeah, here is the link. You can have the link over here and then give your response, or maybe you can scan from this QR code. So this is a link, you can share your response on it. And before filling that form, anyone would like to tell me what is cloud computing? Whatever comes in your mind, whatever knowledge you have, you just give a quick introduction about cloud computing. Be it you can feel like you are 5 years old, so nobody will be laughing, nobody will make fun of you. So you are very open to tell me what is your knowledge, what is in your mind, whatever comes into your mind. Anyone can share, or meanwhile the link is here, you can share a response over here as well.
Can someone just help us share what cloud computing is? That is the question. Your knowledge about what cloud computing is.
Whatever it comes in your mind, there is nothing like any quiz or something. There is no marks for this question. Whatever comes in your mind, what is you can tell me what is the cloud.
All right. Jessica, you can go ahead.
Yes, please.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So, What I understand cloud computing to be, it's basically about providing access to cloud services on a pay-as-you-go basis, or like providing access. When we're talking about cloud services, it's mostly storage, like a virtual storage, a virtual data center, that kind of thing. So cloud computing is about providing access for people to use this storage on a pay-as-you-go basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jessica. That was so nice. That's great. So,
Okay.
and anyone else, if you want to add, he's allowed, no issue. Delivery of computing service over the internet. Yusuf, you have
Okay.
shared a right response.
Okay. What I
That's
understand
great.
by cloud computing is actually
Okay.
interacting with computing services, which include
Mm-hmm.
storage, networking, software analysis over the internet.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Very good. Very good. So that well done. That's great. And meanwhile, I suggested everyone to fill that quick forms. There are two questions you can see from here. I have shared a link on chat box. Okay, so we have cloud computing is allow user access to powerful computing over the internet. Very right, Gabriel. Very right. You were 100% right. So we have heard like hundred or thousand of definition of the cloud, of the internet on the books, and we know most of them are right from your side. Somebody shared on chat, someone shared on messages on the voice call. So that is right. But let me summarize all these definitions, because we have heard, like I would say, like thousand of definitions on the internet, on the books and everything. So if we can summarize to get the best one, or maybe we can refer some agency or some authority who can tell us what is the right definition of it. So moving it to that definition, basically there is a organization, or you can say a body, which is always define the standards and all the standards of different technologies and processes. That is called NIST, National Institute of Science and Technology. So we will focus the definition from the NIST, and we'll try to understand what is all about cloud. So first I will read this definition, that is more bookish definition, and then I'll try to make it very easy, or you can say in a simple common man language, so everybody can understand what is cloud and how do we use it. Okay, so let me allow to read it aloud, and then we will further discuss what is this. Cloud computing is a model of enabling ubiquitous, convenient, on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources, such as networks, servers, storage, application, services, that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimal management efforts or service provider interaction. So now, after listening to this definition, there is little, you can say, imagination of cloud has been building in your mind. And I just pointed out 3 or 4 words with my fingers, if you have observed. Like cloud computing is a model of enabling ubiquitous, convenient, on-demand network access. It's mean we will be requiring some network, you can say network resources. That could be storage, that could be network itself, application or services, on on-demand basis, like from the shared pool of resources. Like for example, there's a company that have a cloud or AWS cloud. They have bunch of pool of resources, and I just ask him to lend me 3 resources. Whatever these resources, I'm not going to detail in that right now. We'll discuss further. But I just need 3 of them. For example, in your lab or in your library, you have bulk of books, number of books available. If someone comes and he asks that please give me 2 books, one for the economics and one for the marketing, so that librarian will lend this book to you, and you will easily get to know the knowledge from that book. And then after finishing it, you will return it to the librarian, and that book can be given to some other fellow or some other colleague. So that is all about cloud computing. And there are few important parameters that has to have that available in that cloud providers network. For example, there are multiple cloud providers who are providing their services. We will discuss what are these, but just few are like AWS or Huawei Cloud. They have bulk of resources available, and then they shared with you on lease base, and you use your application, and then you pay according to your need. That's it. And then what is the important thing about the cloud? Now you can think like that I have resources in my company, my office, my university, and I use according to my needs. When I don't want, I don't use it. But but the starting cost, or you can say the initial cost, you have to pay for it. You just purchase 5 servers, 20 GB of network resources and everything, and you have to pay a bulk of amount. But maybe you are using for 3 days in a week, and rest 4 days are free. But provider has to maintain the whole network, and then he leased these services to different part of the different users or different customers according to their need, and they are just charging. But there are 4 or 5 parameters or features should be available there. For example, any cloud provider should have available a complete shared pool of configurable resources, and that should be readily available. It's not like that if I go and ask, like, I need 2 computers, so the provider will say, okay, please come tomorrow, I will arrange for you. No, that has to be available right away. You just click, and then you get the result. And if I completed my work, so I can release that efforts. So it's the best example is like the leasing a car. If you have a car, that's very good. If you don't have a car, what will you do? You go to any vendor and ask that I need a car for a day, and I'll go to A or B, C locations. And so he said, okay, please give me $10 per day, or whatever the charges you are discussing with them. Or maybe you can use public transport or something. But if you have a car, it's been you need to build the initial cost, and you have to run that vehicle, you have to supply the fuel, maintenance, and everything. You have to maintain all that processes, like maintenance, like wear and tear, like fueling and everything. But if you are leasing a car, then you just pay the rent, and then you use it. Fueling, driver, maintenance, everything is a hacked of that vendor. So that concept can be applicable to the cloud computing, but there are few things which I wanted to emphasize, that the cloud resources should be readily available, that can be provisioned on just away and release with the minimal efforts and in the instructions, and they are built as per the use. It's not like if I have used my computer for 1 minute and I have to pay for a whole month. No, maybe it depends upon your contract. Like sometime you have to pay for minutes, sometime you have to pay for hours, or sometime you have to pay for the months, or maybe sometime you pay for like next 5 years. So I will be using 50 VMs, virtual machines, with 20 GB PS speed, and then I'll be paying you $1,000 per month for next 5 years. That depending upon the contract. But normally, how much processes, how much resources you used, you have to pay for it. You don't need to pay for whole system or whole availability. So I hope the little introduction about cloud, what is cloud computing and cloud technologies are there. Meanwhile, what I see from the input you have given into the forum, which I shared with you. Let me show you as well. Okay, so here is the input from your side. Okay, so 24 votes have been casted, um, and mostly people said like, if I can read it out, and we have people from mostly from Africa and some from Asia and some from North America as well. That's great. So what is cloud technology? Delivery of computing services, easy storage computing. People can access anytime. Online services are virtual storage, computer and over the internet storage, rented server, work as a server where you are, group of computer, that is large database. So these are the some inputs from your side which I have just read. So now if you correlate with the definition or with the information which I just gave you, so now you can correlate all these things. You all have given the right answers. Mostly they are they are okay. But if you just combine all this information with the information which I have given you, so you can get to know a picture of cloud computing. It's a whole, you can say, a resource management platform with different features available. Like billing should be on the runtime, availability should be on the go, reliability should be there, and then you have bulk of pool of resources available. Then I can land it and I can use it. So before moving to the further, the types of cloud and how these clouds are providers are working and how they are. So I hope it is clear. So type of clouds, like definitely we have different types of clouds and what they are. First of all, we have public cloud. The name shows it very well. The public cloud means the cloud which is available for everyone. You can just name it like Huawei Cloud, Azure, that is from Microsoft, GCP, that is from Google, AWS from Amazon, and then Alibaba and Oracle, and then different types of cloud. These are available for everyone, and user can use their services and pay according to their use case. But what if I built a cloud services for my company or my users only? That is not applicable to whole world. That is called private clouds. Definitely all the resources will be available to my data center only, and that is not reachable to some other person. So that is called private cloud. There are different technologies which we use for the private cloud, and like even Huawei Cloud has some features, like AW has some features, so you can learn install it locally and then use it for your customer and your employees. Now the other one comes like hybrid cloud. Now you can easily get to know what should be the hybrid cloud is, because the name shows the hybrid. It means a combination of public and cloud. For example, I built a cloud for my customers and my colleagues, and then I'm using it. But after some time, I realized now it's a good business potential. Let's be it global, and then let's allow it to the customers, and then I can make some revenue stream, and then it becomes hybrid cloud. It's mean I'm working on my on-premises system and as well as the public clouds available. So that is called hybrid cloud. Normally, these are three types of cloud which is normally being focused everywhere. But let me introduce one more cloud that is very important, and specifically with the you people, because you are mostly from the university and like from the professional life as well. So what I can try to explain is the community cloud. Now the community word is very known to you. The community means a group of people with a common interest. But here the community is not any religious or any national community. It's like a community of our university or community of some NGOs based, where the financials are not for the business purposes, they are just for the running business operations. For example, you must have heard about different research networks. Say like Japan has JPRAN, Japan Research Network, and then Pakistan has, then India and America has. Definitely Nigeria should must have that network as well. So all these networks are connected together so they can share their research papers, their research work, and all data with different networks. And they don't want to go to the public cloud like AWS or something and pay some hefty amount. They just built a local cloud for themselves and their users. Their users are the students, professors, PhD guys, and everything. They are their customers and their users. So the community cloud is more toward the non-financial side or non-business, like sort of a NGO type of model. So just a quick recap: public cloud is for all. Hybrid cloud is something which is specific to the user or the community, to that local company or colleagues. The hybrid is a merger of both of them. And community is something which is like an NGO sort of a mechanism where you don't put money for the business need, you just put money for running the business operations. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so, and you can just put a message if that's okay, then I can continue more. So these are types of cloud which we have learned. But what if the different mechanism of clouds? Like for example, my company, let's say I have company ABC, and they work with AWS. They use the services of AWS and they are good to go. But after some time, they realize AWS is very costly. Let's build some cloud, some working on our GCP network as well. So they start using GCP as well, or maybe they want like half of the traffic should go to the AWS and half should go to the GCP, that is cloud, Google Cloud. So they can get the benefit of both. So, and then definitely a factor of redundancy is also there. If there is something happen with AWS or GCP, vice versa, so their data should be intact and their availability should be on the 100% side. So they should be called as a multi-cloud, that we are operating on the multi-cloud. And let me tell you with very much confidence that now mostly big companies, like 80-90% companies, they are multi-cloud. Nobody bothered to rely on a single set of a cloud provider or something due to different factors. Redundancy, just I told you, the cost is very important factor, and then availability at different regions, because maybe AWS is strong toward the American region, or Alibaba is more focused over the Asia and China region. So you should get the mix of both of them. It's always good to have different type of cloud provider, CSP, cloud service provider. So makes sense. The multi-cloud is very much understandable with the word, with my definitions and with my interaction. But what is hybrid cloud? That is very important question. You know the word what is hybrid, and you know the word the cloud is there. If you think little deeper with all the knowledge which you have previously or from our session as well, the multi-cloud is very simple. Like when you have two different vendors, like for example, I'm working on AWS and I also work on Azure. That makes simple. I'm good to have, and I'm multi-cloud, and maybe I have GCP as well. So I can say I am the user of multi-cloud and I am working on a multi-cloud engineering. Maybe I need communication between Azure and GCP as well. So that is a job of multi-cloud network engineer. But what if I have a private setup, like my data center setup, and then I also rely on AWS or Azure or GCP or any third XYZ company. So I would be famous with hybrid cloud integration. So maybe I can build a hybrid cloud with my own software, or maybe we can ask AWS to provide their software. For example, if you use AWS services from the public cloud, they just have different offerings. We will discuss what are these. But if you say like we want to build our own data center, our own cloud, so AWS provide you AWS Outpost, or maybe GCP provide you Anthos, and then you install it in your network and you just good to go. So multi-cloud and hybrid cloud, if they are okay with you, so you can just put a message and say okay. So I can get to know that you are on track and we are together. Like we both learning together. So just put a message on chat so it keep on interacting. And definitely, if you have a question, you can just put on a message. And meanwhile, we will be having different questions further again. So there are some good things about multi-cloud, some pros and some cons. So I have a quick question for you, and that would be given by all of you just in a chat, and we'll discuss further later on. But what do you think? Multi-cloud is a good option to avail, or it's a cost solution, cost on a higher side? So what do you think? What is a good factor for multi-cloud, and what is the best factor for the multi-cloud? So you just put on a chat, and then I'll see your responses, and we'll discuss. So we know what is cloud. We know what are the types of cloud, and we also know how cloud are provide offering to us, and also we know different models of cloud. Okay, so now what cloud is selling? What is the product we are getting from the cloud? You must have heard these words SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, and maybe XaaS or maybe MBS. But what are these? So I won't tell you right now about these things, like what is SaaS, that is software as a service, or PaaS, but that is platform as a service, or or in IaaS, infrastructure service. I'll show you something, a slide, and then I'll come back to that slide, and then you will get to know that is like a magic. You will get to know that what are these. So let me allow to switch the screen. So this is one screen, and there are 4 different types of boxes available. And the example which I have just quoted you like 10 minutes ago about different options of availability of vehicle. There's like, for example, maybe I have a car, maybe I don't have a car. So what would if I have a car? Definitely, it's a good to have, and I use it. I go from my university to my office, and then everything. And then we have different options. First option is maybe I can lease a car. The option which we have just discussed like 3 times ago, that we can lease a car maybe for a month, for a day, or maybe for a week. And I just have a contract with my company, like I will be needing a car for 5 days, and I will pay you $10, and then everything is the responsibility of that vendor, be it fuel, be it driver, be it maintenance, road tax, and everything, tool tax, everything will be the responsibility of that vendor. I just have to pay a handsome amount to that guy. That makes sense because you are using their infrastructure. Makes sense. It's a costly solution, but it is very good. I can go anywhere according to my need. There is no harm, like you should not go there or something like that. You are open to use, but it's a little on the higher side. And maybe it's not like I cannot able to drive the car. So third option is to use a car or a ride hailing services like Careem and Uber and something like that, whatever services you are using in your country. So maybe I can hire a cab or taxi. I just pay, like I want to go from my university to airport, and I'll pay you $20, and just so everything, the petrol, the driver, the taxes, and everything will be responsibility of taxi driver, and I just sit on the car, and then he'll drop me to the airport. I'm good to go. I'll just pay him $20, and then he go. It's a good solution, but the problem is that you are using his platform, but what you have to define him, like I want to go from here to there, source and destination, and or maybe from A to B or C D point, but you have to define that position, and then he will drop you from that position to your destination. You cannot go anywhere else unless you will add the amount and everything. And it's like cost is on the mid level, less than lease the car, but taxi is something like in the leasing the car we are giving him $100. Now in taxi we are giving him $20. But what if I want to go from my university to airport? I know the destination. Why don't I use a public transport that is very costly or very cheap? Not very costly. I can sit and I will be dropped over there. But the issue is that there are more people sitting with me. Maybe they are going to different places, and then they are just using the services. So I just everything, the bus fare, bus charges, taxes, petrol, driver, road permit, everything is being maintained by that bus driver, or what you say, the vendor of a bus, maybe the owner. And I'll just pay like $2 or $3, and he'll drop me over there. So now I have 4 solutions to use my transportation. So it's a small story which I have just told you. Now let me go back one slide, and now I will ask you, can you able to correlate that scenario with the cloud? Either I don't have I have all the services available, all the infrastructure, maybe it's a storage or services or network or computing power and everything. Everything is being maintained by my company, my colleagues, my fellows. Be it networking, be it storage, be it physical security, be it data security, be it application, storage, operating system, middleware, software, everything is being maintained by me. Definitely more availability is there, but the cost is very, very high. And then apart from cost, the important thing is what? The availability. For example, I have 100 servers, but I need two more, so I need to purchase it from scratch, and then I'll go like something to it. What if someone comes to me, a company comes to me, and that, why are you building all these solutions? Why don't you put your time and efforts in deployment and development? Let us build all that solutions for you, and then you just use it. I said, oh, that's look good. So then what happened? All the networking, storage, server, and everything, or the computer, you can say hardware, is being maintained by that company. They will give us a server. We will put an operating system on it. You know what is operating system? Software which runs the computing power. It could be Windows, it could be Linux, it could be Ubuntu, whatever the flavor of Linux you are working on. Maybe the Mac as well. Now AWS also provide Mac OS as well. And then you install the operating system, then put some more software, and then put your data and then use it. Maybe I want to run my web server, my email server, and my database server. So I will install Windows or Linux into that service. And for email server, I will be adding any email client or something, email server. For database, maybe I will put Oracle database or whatever which I am good at, and then I'll use that services. But after some time, what happens? Every time the server is there, but all the operation, installation, running data, troubleshooting of that software, maybe if you are using web server for Nginx or IES, so all that operation is being done by my team. So again that sales guy comes to me, and then, why are you using our infrastructure service? Let's move to the platform as service. We will run operating system for you, storage and everything we will maintain for you. You will just get the login, you will install your software and data and use it, and you have to pay us XYZ amount, and you are okay with that. But as soon as I'm shifted from infrastructure as a service to platform as a service, the work done I'm doing on hardware side or software side is reduced to almost zero, and now I'm more focused on the application. For example, I have built a database server. Now I will not bother how the server is running, how the storage is being fixed, or how the softwares are being patched or something. I just focused on that Oracle database and their data and everything in operations. But after some time, or maybe the email server or web server, after some time, what I said, okay, now we are working on database, but our email server and our storage server, or maybe our websites, every time we need to install it and everything, why don't we go to the software side? That is software. We will build hardware for you. We build operating system will be built by us, and we will install software as well. You just come and start using it. The best example software service is the Google Drive. We all are using Google Drive and everything. For example, or maybe Google Meet, we just come and use its service. For example, everyone is getting 15 GB free from Google, but what if I want 20 GB or 30 GB? So I pay certain amount, and they will give you the storage of 100 GB or 2 tera. We don't bother where that server is, where that storage is, how they are manipulating it, how the security is being made, how the power, electricity are being generated. But we just came and pay some handsome amount, and then we are using storage, or maybe that video conferencing and everything. So if you just try to remember that example of vehicle in the next slide, which we had, with the same example which I am giving you right now, the cloud services we are providing in the cloud could be of different types. Three mains are infrastructure service. Either you are selling infrastructure in cloud. What are the infrastructure? Storage is the whole setup is called infrastructure. We just build your services or your tasks. Or maybe you can sell platform. I'll provide you platform. You just come, add your required application, and then use it. Or maybe you don't bother for infrastructure or the platform. You just come and use the services. Like we just go to the bus and we sit and he will drop us to our destination. We don't bother who is driving the car, what is his name, where he lives, and what he do, and how that bus is being uh, sent to the mechanic, and how tax is paid. Something, no. We just bother with the ticket, like $2 a ticket, and then he'll drop us, no matter. So we just come and use that software and good to go. Voila, that's it. But I just told you these three: one, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. I didn't tell you about XaaS. Can somebody quickly give me a chat message? What is X as a service? Meanwhile, I'll define you another one, that is mobile backend as a service. If you are working in a mobile company, or maybe you just know different mobile companies, so they have a big giant network from customer end to the core end. Why don't they lease that network to different parties, different operators? So that could be the service which they can sell to someone. So you can say mobile backend, the whole mobile network is leased to someone else, and then it could be sold. So let me see the message from someone about XaaS. So we have Miss Jessica, anything as a service. That's great. Ibrahim said the same thing. Very good. So you all are like, no, X means anything. Here X is not from the English, from the Roman, anything. Which, so you means you can sell anything. I'll tell you one very good example. When like last 2 years, when we have COVID pandemic and all the lockdown, the best services which was widely used and widely sold is not infrastructure, not platform, not software. It was desktop as a service, because every company is shut down and they are not allowed to go outside. So everyone, every employee, every student is sitting at home, and they need to do work. So they need some desktop to work on. So if you have laptop, that's good. But mostly the more mix different companies like call centers, like software house, they don't have everyone doesn't have good systems available at their home. So they just buy a simple system, and then they ask cloud provider to provide our desktop, which was same as we were working in our company. So all the softwares, all the storages, all the capacities, all the shared folder would be there. You just come on your laptop or maybe your desktop, you just sign in into the application, and you will get the same desktop or the availability or the storage and everything which you were having when you were in the office. So what's the great benefit which we had? So cloud is one of the technology, or you can say when in the pandemic, when every company, every industry were declining, maybe like except medical, or you can say the paramedics, the doctor field, the cloud or technology is the only field which was booming. Otherwise, every technology, maybe industry, textile, airport, airlines, everyone had a very bad phase due to the lockdown and everything. So back to the topic, Abdullah and Ibrahim and Mr. Daniel, Latif, all have given the right answer. Thank you. That's great. Acha, we have a quick question right now. Let me see. Someone else just put a question. And also, you have given a good example. Like good factor is robustness, bad factor is cost. We'll see the message again. But multi-cloud is faster. Okay. So if any question, you can just. I think you're just sharing your information. That's great. That's great. Sani Abdul Salam has said, mean if a service provider is done right. Okay. Maybe if I get your question, what if the service provider is down? Like service provider is a giant network, but it happens sometimes. You have heard like Google is down, Facebook is down. So the probability is very low and the availability is very, very high. So there are less chance, so they can be disrupted. But everything is in the world can be has the bad phase, but the chances are very, very low. Sure. Please put your question over here. Okay. So I hope the infrastructure service and platform service was very much clear with that example, and then we'll move to the real world example as well. But what I feel right now, I heard one more services. Can you confirm this service are being used by you as well? Actually, recently, 1 year ago, I posted on my social media and I got that response because people love this services. So, anyone of you are using this service as well? Just comment in the chat box. So I'll ask him, how do you use it and how much the charges are? So these services are very much popular, and I hope the last service also is very important. Oh, so where that ship comes from? So we discuss about cloud. Now where this ship and containers are coming? Anybody can guess why the Google is running 2 billion containers per week? We were discussing cloud, I guess, and where that comes. Anybody can help me with this? Maybe you can open your mic as well because I'm very much worried about it. That how containers are related with the cloud. What is container is in the sea, cloud is in the air, and we are in the mid of both of them, like on the surface. Can you give me just a minute break so I can have my tea and think about it? Meanwhile, you can please help me about how containers are there.
Okay. Simply, what I get by containers in the cloud is like a package of application or the softwares that include the necessary or the necessary usage of the any environment. Like it's just like a container, and the container is just like a package of software or a package of an application that consists the elements of that software or the elements of that application.
Thank you, Brahim. You just made my life easy. What do you understand by container as it related to? Okay, you were asking the question. Thank you, Kami. So, anybody else want to join Ibrahim and add some value?
Hello.
Yes. Hello. Hi.
Can I contribute?
Sure. I would love to have. Please.
According to what you said,
What's your good name first, please, man?
my name. Sorry, I'm using another person's account. My name is Amos Oladotun.
Okay, that's great. Please.
If I should let me explain containers. According to containers resources. According to like in AWS, we have what we call Kubernetes containers. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm very
Yeah.
much.
If I should define what you said here, Google is running 2 billion containers per week. That is, Google has in cloud, we have networking, storage, a lot of resources that are being used to maintain whatever company, whatever stuff they are using, they want to like use. What container there are applications such as applications, storage, anything they want to like use. Everything is there on Google, whether machine learning, software, everything they want to like use. They want to run a website, it can easily be done that on Google. That's my contribution.
That's great, Daniel. That's very much on the right track, and really appreciate that as well. So, so much information from Daniel and other one as well. So it helped me a lot. So, if you see the diagram, like every technology, mostly technologies, the name or the idea is normally coming from the real world. That's why I keep on trying always. I'll try to make you understand in a common or easy way. So I give you the example of container. Now I start with how containers are being executed. So the cloud, maybe you can ask one question in your mind, like why did this technology is named as cloud? Cloud is something which is known for raining or in the sky. But have you ever noticed if you are moving in a road or in a street, one thing which is always with you is the cloud. Sun comes in the morning, but moon comes in the night. Sometime sun is not available due to eclipse or something. But mostly times cloud is reachable to you. You can see the cloud. It's been the inspiration from there that anything which is not close to me, but I can reach to that, or I can get, or I can view that thing at every time. Maybe it's a night or daytime, or maybe it's a weekend or a holiday. So now you are getting the shape into, okay, what is cloud. The same concept for the containers. Someone has rightly said the container is something which is used for packing things. So if we move container into a technology world, what are these things? Our applications are thing, our softwares are thing, our data is thing. So if we want to wrap in something, definitely we need some container or something. For example, if I want to give a gift to a Daniel, what would I do? I would just like, this is the mobile, you can take it. No. What would I would do? I would wrap it in a classy paper or something, a sticker or something, and then I put my name and then give it to. So it looks good to him. So container is the same thing. Some data, some storage facility, or maybe some application, everything is being containerized or wrapped into the box or some software, and then you can ship it to somewhere else. One more example which always be given for the container. For example, I make an application and I'm using Linux at my home, and I built on, for example, Node.js. That is an application language used for developing applications. So I give it to Kemi, please try this application and let me know what's your take on it. He started, and then he complained, I cannot able to run that application even. How can I test it? Because he is using Windows, maybe he is having Linux, but with different flavors or different versions. So we have the compatibility issue. What would I do now? Now I will again make this application, but I will containerize it or wrap it into some software that is called container by using a Docker or whatever software will come to it. And then I send it to Kami or Daniel, please have it. So what they will do, they will unwrap it and then use it. So now they don't have the issue of compatibility because we both using the container mechanism. It's the same thing. Like I want to email to my friend 50 pictures. So it's very cumbersome to attach all pictures. What I do, I make it zip and then I send that zip file to my friend. And then what he does, he'll unzip that file and get all the pictures. So that was a good example if you relate with the containers. So now back to the containers in technology and how containers normally working before what we have before containers and how the containers are being used. Normally in the start, what we have, like I have a laptop, you are just working, like right now you are using laptop or desktop. You have a desktop or a laptop, you have one Windows available on it, or maybe Mac OS if you're using Apple. Any operating system you have. You just install application, maybe you install Zoom, then you install Microsoft Office, then you install any private software, ABC, and then you install different softwares. But what if your one application is eating more memory? For example, Chrome is using your out of 8 GB, it's using your 6 GB. So what happened? Other applications will going to deteriorate. So they will be having issues. So what we do, and maybe if we take example of different servers, like you have a company and you have 100 plus servers available, and you install different application and give it access to different customers. So if one customer is using it badly, so other customers will be suffering from that. You can say the compatibility issues or performance related issues. So what we do, will in the second step or initially after the traditional setup, we install a software that is operating system, whatever it is, Linux or Windows, let's say Windows, and then we install another software that is called hypervisor. It could be Oracle box or VM box or whatever, and then we build two different virtual machine over it. Or maybe I can install VirtualBox on my laptop. In my laptop is Windows 10, but on VirtualBox I can run Windows or Ubuntu or whatever the flavor of Linux I want to use. Or maybe I can run again Windows with a different version. Like I want to test how Windows 11 is working. So I will not disturb my main laptop. I'll put a VM and then confine that Windows 11 on that VM. You all know the what is VM or virtual machine is. But this setup is very good. It's like you are dividing your whole server or your resource into different mechanism. But what if I want my Windows to get more memory and my Linux to get low memory? So I need to close both virtual machines and then reconfigure it and then restart. So now think if these two different virtual machines are belong to different customers. One customer is A, one customer is B. So now if I want to change the proportion, so both customer will face the outage during that window. So that is a good system, but with some issues, and definitely they are slow because one physical system is one, and then we are dividing virtually different systems. Make sense? So what we do, we can make different containers, and you know the already know the benefits of container. We just install a Windows or Linux or whatever, and then we install any software. What is that software? We'll come to know what are these. Let's say we install one software. What is that software will do? It will help you to make containers. For example, that software is like a ship and the containers are being placed over it. This container can as small as 10 MB space, or as big as like GBs or terabits, no issue. But normally the containers are so small, so they are fast and they are very agile or something like that. And if you see the diagram on the left side, it's a very quick comparison between virtual machine, that is VM, and on the right side Docker. Docker means container software that helped me to build container. It's called Docker. So VM is like an elephant, and Docker is something like you can say container, and very small. So definitely it is small, so that's mean it's very fast. The startup is very fast. You can imagine, like if you open your laptop, it will take almost 30-40 seconds, and definitely if it is server, it will take 1 minute. But containers are very small, they are very fast and very easy to agile. And I'll give you a very quick example. For example, I won't say who use Facebook. I'll ask who don't use Facebook. Everyone is using Facebook, for example, any website. You just open the website facebook.com. You see there is a login page, and then you just log your network and then go into the Facebook. No, but if you see, if it is containerized form, you have different 100+ containers are working. For example, it could be like your login box is working on one container, your forget password is working on different one, or maybe the backend is working on different one. So right now I can tell you in very easy way that 100+ containers are working for a single page. So now you understand that containers are very small. You are dividing your work in a distributed factor. That's why it's also called microservices. The word micro means small. The services, you are dropping services into a micro. For example, previously you have one giant website, and that is like called monolithic, simple one website. But then you divide it into microservices, small pieces, and each piece is wrapped into one container. So like if you open the google.com, maybe for you it's a single page, but before that page there are 100+ containers are working on for that, and definitely 100+, another set of 100 for the redundancy as well. So I hope this is very quick introduction of containers. It's a like universe, but I give you a very concise information about the containers. So now you may ask how containers are being built, because I'm using Windows, maybe you are using Linux, somebody is using Apple. So how containers are being used? And you just told us 5 minutes ago that if two people are using different operating system, they can talk on the same page using the containers. So but I'm using the Windows, and for example Daniel is using Linux, and Kim is using Mac OS. So how they are compatible? This is the same example. Like for example, some official goes to other country, like your prime minister is going to some other country. He doesn't know Urdu, and I don't understand Hausa. So there must be someone who understand both of them. Like you can say the translator. I can say in Urdu, and he'll translate to your language, and then he'll reply, and then he convert something in for me in Urdu. Make sense? So Docker does the same thing. He just take your application, and make a, you can say, make an image of these applications. So every time when you make an application, you will take a photo state of your application with all the availabilities. So like I gave you example that I built an application in Node.js, but I use Linux and I use Node.js version 3.0, for example. So he will take photo state of my application, also my initial, you can say, very important files or my dependencies. So all that clubbed into the container, and then container should go to Daniel, and Daniel use that file in the reverse fashion. So there are three parts of a Docker container or Docker system. One part is Docker client. Let me show you in the next figure. It will help you to understand. Okay. So if you see that this is a whole life cycle of container. For example, I just made an application. I'm here. I'm a client basically. So what I would do right now, we don't have much time to we can go to the configuration. I will share if someone wants. I'll share all that steps. Maybe I can share you this presentation so you can see all that step as well, or maybe you can try about all these stuffs. So just let me tell you the process. So what I will build an application, I will ask Docker to make it containerize and make a image for me. So what Docker client will do, it will take the image of my application, my subsidiaries, my, you can say, softwares and all that repositories, and then put it into the different layers and make a one image and put it into a container. And then this container will be sent to a registry. Registry is something like Google Drive. You can say Docker Hub is nothing but a Google Drive of a Docker, where all the repositories are available and you can use it according to your needs. For example, I make an image, and how I will send to you, maybe I can email you, maybe I can send you on a USB, but it isn't a better way to send you a link and you can download from there. Like what we do, like if I want to give you this this presentation to you, so I won't be emailing to everyone. I will just give you the link, you can download from that link. You said okay, that's fine, or maybe you can edit that PPT as well if it is allowed to. So back to the life cycle. So Docker client will build the images for me and then combine into the Docker system and then put in the container, and then container will be sent to the registry and I will download that registry. Up now you can reimagine this whole life cycle into a common life. Normally what happened in our seaport, all the items put it into the container, and then container the containers are moved into the ship, and then ship sail to some other country, like it goes to Dubai, and then they unload it and then open the containers, and containers are being the items are being sent to the other part of the country. But you can see different types of container, different colors, different sizes. So these sizes, these colors are due to their availability, their destination, their types. Maybe you cannot put your eatable items with some grocery items, or maybe you cannot put electronic item with any eatable things or something, or maybe you cannot put different like these are 3 containers should go to Dubai, these 5 containers should go to America, and so on and so forth. So if you see that figure, you will understand whatever I told you with all that story. You can see different types of container, different colors, different shapes. Shapes are mostly same, but size are different. Like colors are different companies, but they are putting all containers into one ship, and ship goes to different locations from source to different destinations. So again, come to that headline. Google is running 2 billion containers per week. Google is one of the, you can say, one of the Google cloud service provider. They are widely used. They're almost all services. You can just name it, be it YouTube, be it Google Drive, be it Google Map, even Google Meet, which we are using, all are containerized. Now, one question comes in my mind, like I know I have an application, I make it microservices, I containerize it using Docker. There are so many software, but Docker is the more popular one, like Rocket are there. But Docker is the mostly used. That is good. We send it to Google Docker Hub and everyone is using. But I just heard a word like Google is running 2 billion container. So is it possible, like each container is like a computing resource, so is it possible to manage all these 2 billion containers by human? So how do you manage all this thing? For example, if you have university, it has 10,000 students, maybe you can manage. But if your university has 20, 30, 40, 30,000, how it will be managed? How, who will administrate them? How the classes will be arranged and everything? So there one more software comes in, and I'm very happy that Daniel has introduced that software name in his uh, discussion. That is Kubernetes, and the name is Greek, so a little bit difficult to pronounce for us. So normally people say it K8, K and 8. K is a starting word, and there is a 8 letters between them. Then S, K8s. The short form is K8s. You can see on the slide as well. So the K8 is one software which is used to orchestrate all that container. So K8 is nothing, but it's like a monitor of the class. Monitor of the class is the person who is a part of that class, but who is supposed to manage all the activities of the class, be it checking attendance and everything, or maybe assisting teacher and everything. Okay, and then the best thing about Kubernetes is it's an open source, like anybody can use. And then the good thing is about one more good thing is Kubernetes. It was developed initially by Google, and then Google is handed over to CNCF. CNCF is Cloud Native Computing Foundation. Now, Kubernetes is the software which is used for managing all your containerized application. But the good thing is that be it your AWS cloud, be it your Huawei cloud, be it your private cloud, Kubernetes is cloud native. Kubernetes can be used everywhere. So be it your on-premises system, be it your public cloud, everyone. So everywhere Kubernetes is being used and widely used. 90% customers are using Kubernetes. There are a few more softwares, but Kubernetes is the one which is on the top. So what Kubernetes does, I just quickly jot down here. The most important thing is the orchestration of that whole containers. Different containers are running. If one container is bad, then Kubernetes ask them to restart, or maybe initiate the new one in place of it. Or you can say, for example, I have a website and I put it into the container and good to go. But what if, like today we have a webinar, we suppose that the traffic will be high because more customer will be coming. So before activity or before everything, before the, you can say, big day, it will add more resources. And when the activity is over, the party is over, then they will kill that resource. So all that operations, you can say it's a manager of the company who does all the, you can say, management or monitoring, and also direct people what to do. So here people are the containers. So Kubernetes, its whole life cycle of the, if you say, if I want to remove Kubernetes from the cloud, then there is no cloud for you. Thank you. And so this is a very quick introduction of Kubernetes. And then we have the benefits. Mostly people have written on the chat that different benefits, different good points about the cloud. But again, I will emphasize few 5 points which NIST has helped us, that these essential characteristics should be available. So I want to emphasize these 5 points. First, on-demand service availability. Like if anyone wants to be claimed like as a cloud service provider, then it should be on demand. Whenever I ask, they should provide it. Broad networks is, it should be available from every technology, be it 4G, 5G, 3G, or maybe internet and everything. A resource should be available in the pool. That could be rapidly elasticity. Means you can expand as per your need, or measured services. Any pay as much you go. How much I use, I will pay about that much amount. So these are 5 characteristics should be available for any provider to be called as a CSP. CSP is cloud service provider. So that is the first part of the cloud. It's go little beyond to our target, but I hope your participation shows that it is very much beneficial for you. So as I discussed, there are thousands of cloud providers, but we mainly discuss 4 or 5 because these are the leaders. undoubtedly the leader is AWS. AWS is Amazon Web Services. Actually, you would be amazed to know that we know Amazon for some different reasons, like for Prime, from from material or something. And but Amazon has a very big infrastructure. So they just built a separate setup. They called this Amazon Web Service. Initially, it was for selling web books and something, but then their infrastructure grew so much fast, so they started selling cloud services, and they are the pioneer one. And then Microsoft, which was the software company, they jumped in and they started Azure. That is a brand name of cloud services. So Microsoft is known for Windows and something software, Microsoft Office, but they are the fastest growing CSP in the field. And then Google is the always a very good, you can say, software and website leader, search engine. But every services which are being led by company, that is Google. Be it search, be it video, and everything. You just name it and you would have it. So they started GCP, Google Cloud Platform. And then we have Alibaba and IBM. IBM was a software-based company, solution-based, but they jumped into the cloud. Oracle was a database, purely database company, but they just started now database, but now the cloud is booming. So they started with the services with the cloud as well. So, but I want to tell you about the another one, that is Huawei Cloud, which is one of the most leading one, because we normally feel Huawei like a technology company which are more toward the technology, be it 5G, 3G, or maybe datacom and something, but they just jumped into the cloud world with 30 years of ICT experience. And you would very much pleased to know that they have 300 plus services available, 200 services available with different regions, but mostly they are focused on the China side, but they are just growing. But the good advantage is that you can integrate with different technologies. For example, they are the leaders in 5G, so you can club 5G with the cloud, you can club AI or everything with the cloud. So we'll have a quick introduction of that as well. So one more quick question for you. You know, like IBM, Oracle, they are the software-based company, and they are very, you can say, niche market. Like Oracle is all about database and something. IBM is solution architect, something. So why they jump into the cloud? What would the reason they are thinking? Because IBM is very giant company. Same with the Oracle. Same with the Transcend, that they are Chinese companies. And there are other cloud as well, like Apple Cloud, but they don't sell. They are like public, they are not public cloud. But these are all public cloud. So you just share your thoughts in chat as well. Achha, there is one more. I said in the start that AWS is the leader. So how can I say this? Because there's a very famous company, that is Gartner. They always keep on sharing different data available with the ranking and everything. So for last 10 years, AWS on the top side, then Microsoft in Azure, and then for different services, they are different available clouds. You can see different clouds written over here: Alibaba, Transcend, Baidu. Baidu is a Chinese company, Baidu, and IBM, Oracle. So that makes me help to. So back to the Huawei cloud, which I was focusing. Although the proportion of Huawei cloud is very low in the world, but in China, it's on the second. Chinese market is very much rich in terms of technology, because they mostly focus the Chinese brand. So the Huawei is on the second position right now. And for some services, it's come to the top 5 for the first time. They have different services available, different region. You know, region and different of the zone. Regions are the availability area where their data center is, and zone is like a data center available. So recently, they are starting in UAE as well, Abu Dhabi. So this is a snapshot for Google Console. I'll show you the console as well. Console is nothing but a website to access that cloud services. So they have bunch of services available. Here are some example and given over here. So you can see this example, and I'll give you a very quick walkthrough of the console. Meanwhile, you can just, everyone should write on a chat at least 5 services or maybe you worked on. Like I know, two example I can give. One is networking and one is storage. Like every one of us is using that services, like storage. Everyone is using the storage services. So I would appreciate if you can just write on a chat. Meanwhile, just I open my console for the Huawei Cloud, and then we'll show you. Let me share that window. Okay, let me share this window. Okay, so that is the window which I wanted to share. Let it be loaded. Let me know when it is loaded to you. Is it being shown? Can you see the Huawei Cloud?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, it is up.
That's great. Okay, meanwhile, before going to that, there are two questions I can see: container software that handles virtual machines, container software that handles virtual machines, or can be other storage services. And also beginner's guide to Kubernetes, and Kubernetes will help for all beginners. Yes, definitely, Latif. Allow if I can. Okay. And another is kindly share any reliable way to learn more about Kubernetes, any channel video that would like to recommend. Okay, in the last, I will share you some details and learning links for you as well as a bonus. So you will get to know, and I'll share some link with Mr. Kimi, and he can share with you on your university group. So you can now see my screen. Okay, this is the console. Yes, visible. Thank you. So this is the console. Let me log in, and then I'll show you. Like if we want to use the Google services, what we do, we normally go into the login page and then we sign in the Gmail. Then every services which is available, like Google Drive, YouTube, Google Map, everyone will be available to you. Same, it's like a console for your web services. So I go to the console page, and here I can log in with my detail. Let me put password. And meanwhile, I'll open one more window for AWS. So you'll get to know different type of consoles available. And I'll show you difference of both of them to meanwhile. So meanwhile, it's being loaded. Okay. Okay, there are little difference in the procedure. Here I have also enabled MFA. You know what is MFA? Multi-factor authentication. For example, if I lose my password, but my account cannot be able to log in because I get a code on my mobile as well. So that is the same process which you are using on different websites to make the more reliable communication. So let me put the code. Okay, so the code is available on my mobile with different application. Yes, there are depending upon the service. Right now, in this application, you can have 2 codes per minute, but after time you can refresh it. Like it also help to misuse my account, so nobody can able to get my account. So my resources cannot be wasted. Okay, so that's good, Daniel. The first services which is showing is Elastic Kubernetes Service. I told you that earlier that Kubernetes is the one which is being used everywhere, be it AWS, Huawei, Amazon, Web Services, or Azure, everywhere. So either you use Kubernetes services on AWS, or you can ask Kubernetes to manage all my Kubernetes cluster, and I will just focus on the services which is running on the Kubernetes. So the last time I use the same service, so it is showing on the recently available services. So let me full screen. Yeah. Okay. So all the services which normally I use come over here. So this is the platform. All the services which are being offered by AWS can be found over here. So if I click on a service, I'll get a big menu. If you can see that my screen is visible to you.
Yes,
Sure.
it is visible.
Sorry? Yes, visible. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Yes,
okay. So if I click on services, you can see different type of services. If I click on analytics, AR, VR, AWS cost management, blockchain, business application, compute. Compute is a service which is normally used for the computing purposes. If I click on the compute, you can see bunch of services available. EC2 is the one which we were discussing, like virtual servers. I want to run my computer on the internet, I will buy ECS service. Okay, makes sense. Then Lambda is a something which is used normally when you want to run code and you don't want to engage in infrastructure level services. So these are different. Lightsail is something like pre-made software is available. You just start your web server using Lightsail. And if I go little below, you can see networking, Internet of Things, different topics. If you go on the internet networking, you will get all services which is related to the internet. So these are the services. You can say there are like 300 services available, but the services which I use normally or recently visited, it's something over here. So this is the dashboard. uh, if time allows, we can build some services online and I'll show you. Meanwhile, let's get back to the Huawei cloud. You can see the layout could be different, but the phenomena and the criteria is same. If you click on this menu, you will see service list. Let it be loaded. Or maybe you can search from here as well. Let it be loaded. Okay, meanwhile, we will see some questions are there. Yes, I have given you answer for MFA, right? Yes, you're right. Okay, one more thing about MFA is what is this? Okay, thank you, Rashid, for your tweet. That's great. Mudassir Rashid, wow, virtual put. It is a form of virtual to put an application. Okay, you're right. So different type of comments. That's great. Okay. Meanwhile, I ask you a question regarding multi-cloud. So I was just referring the questions, the responses. So you're right, because multi-cloud is availability of two different clouds, and you can use it at the same time. Definitely, cost could be shared, but there is a challenge for networking of both. Like we have one premises, our network, and then one is AWS network, another one is like Azure network. We want to be communicated with both of them, and they don't communicate with each other. So all that networking phenomena, security, privacy is always a concern. So that was right. So we'll come back to the Huawei cloud. It is taking time to load. Meanwhile, we go to the presentation and discuss some topics which is essential for us. Yes, every this is the one essential service requirement. Like it should be pay as you go. Now it is depending. Some provides per minute charging, some provides per hour charging, but even some provide per second charging as well. No? But this is a key requirement. Very good question, actually. Okay, so very good question. Can you check? I can able to share my screen.
Let me confirm. Everything is good here. Can you try again?
Okay. Let me know.
Okay. It's coming up. It's up.
Okay, great. Good. Yeah. So that was related to Huawei, and we'll come to that. Okay, so there are very quick roadmap for how the people or the student can go to the cloud. What are the availability and what are the requirement you should have, or what is the skill set is essential for you. So before going to that, I'll show you a small diagram. You can see there are four different clouds. They are connected, and maybe their name can be different. Like for example, VPC is a virtual network in GCP, but the same concept is rebranded in Microsoft Azure, called as VNet, virtual net. Here we call it VPC. Maybe somebody called it car, somebody called it vehicle, somebody called it gasoline. So name could be different. The concept is same. So all that connectivity, all that reliability or availability should be maintained by the cloud engineer. So there are 3 or 4 different topics, or you can say the main areas you need to focus on it. For example, how network is being built. Building normal network is slightly different than the building network in the cloud, because in the normal world or normal infrastructure, we know that all that our resources is available to that ABC locations. But in the cloud, we don't know where it is. We just need to build the communication with them without knowing their physical location. We have the IPs, we need to communicate with the routing and everything. So your network architecture mindset is very important. Then that integration part, and definitely when you integrate or you deploy something, you need to have your troubleshooting skills on a higher side. These are a few points which is very important to learn. And,
network architecture, integration, troubleshooting.
And what do you want to learn if you want to work with the cloud? And the networking part. First of all, you need to have a brief introduction about the cloud, how cloud is working, and definitely network part is very essential, which you refer at the routing and protocol or datacom part, and then troubleshooting, because in normal life or normal you can say normal architecture or infrastructure, the systems are very well defined, but in cloud it is very variable. I would not say it's very challenging, but it's very variable because you are depending upon different ABC vendors and different third-party vendors as well. So, like I'm communicating with Azure and I'm communicating with AWS. So I can communicate with Azure, but I cannot be able to communicate my VMs in AWS. So whom should I complain? Be it AWS, maybe it's an Azure. So you need to be very much good at troubleshooting skills so I can relate what are the issues and how to solve these. So these are some a very good question from Mr. John, that do we need CCNA level information? Okay. Actually, the networking or IP knowledge is essential for everyone. Be it are you from a cloud side or from development or DevOps, or maybe you are from the IT, because everything is on internet, everything is being supported by IP networks. I would not say you would go for the protocols and start learning BGP. No, just a basic, like you can say beginner to mid-level information is very good to have. For example, there's a one coder and he is very good in building application or website. But if he doesn't know about basic networking, he doesn't know how IP communicate, how I can reach my application over the internet. So that development skill would be wasted. He may be like a coder, but he could not be able to architect any application. So basic knowledge of IP network is for all, because without internet, even the people from different part of industry, like doctors and professors, they also are now very good at computers or internet and everything, because basic networking, basic IT skills are essential for everyone. Yes, Mr. Simil, I told you that pay-as-you service is a essential service for every cloud. If Huawei is providing any service, definitely they will charge you as per your need base. Now the question could be like, are they charging for per minute or per hours? So they have both options. Even some services of AWS can be charged by per second as well, but that is very minimum or very cumbersome to calculate all that. Normally, per minute charging is widely used in every cloud provider. So if you use your VM for 20 minutes, you will be paying for 20 minutes. If you are using your data storage for 2 years, so you will be paying for 2 years only. It won't be charging you for more than 2 years. Definitely, it depends upon your starting date and everything. Normally, billings are being done on the month end. If you have joined on 28th July, so you will be charged on 30th July for 2 days. But on 30th August, you will be charged for a whole month. And depending upon your sometimes you pay in upfront, like I'm paying you $5,000 for next 5 months. So I won't be having a bill for next 5 months, depending upon the billing scenario. So that's a good question, Samuel. After a skill set, what we do normally in cloud, first is like building cloud infrastructure, maintaining it. But the most important thing is to integrate all that stuff, because we have local setup of IT networks and everything, and we need to integrate. It's been when we want to integrate, then words come with the hybrid cloud. Definitely we'll be using public cloud, and we have our on-premises setup as well. And how they are communicating, how the connectivity is being done, how my setup is being transferred from my on-prem to public cloud. For example, I'm using 50 VMs. Now I want to migrate 40 VMs or 10 VMs for testing basis. That is called migration. And then I will put my whole traffic of 40 VMs to the main part. And definitely 5G is the booming one. The latest 5G network will be whole cloud. Right now 5G is a mix and match. The core is on the cloud, but access and RAN side is on the physical layer and something. But after some time 5G will be over the cloud. Your 5G side, that is called G node B, will directly connect it to the cloud and you will get the 5G services. So that is a different topic, but just to give you an idea. And definitely, and the whole processor, or you can say whole from site to the core, whole thing will be maintained by the Kubernetes, because maybe your G node B is from Huawei, from Ericsson, or from Nokia, but the core should be the same, that is on the Kubernetes. I told you Kubernetes is a cloud native, so all that operations should be performed over there. So what are the available options? Where do you fit yourself, or where do you work in a cloud if you want? Maybe you can work for implementing cloud services, like Abdul Salam has mentioned a very in a detailed way, like different type of telecommunication networks, a different department of telecom engineer. So you can develop something in a cloud that is called cloud developer, or you can operate, do operations job like maintaining cloud resources, maybe cloud security engineer, because in cloud security and privacy is always being a uh, huge concern. So the cloud privacy to maintain is a job of cloud security engineer. You design your cloud services and everything. And then definitely when you are working with different clouds and hybrid clouds, so then there must be a person who is looking after the cloud networking part, or you can say multi-cloud networking part. And all that stuff is being normally managed by cloud solution architect, the guy who design all that solution. If you give an example of common life, like an architect who design a system, a house for you and buildings and something, and the other guy who is a you can say civil engineer who started with building that home and something, and there are some other like different fields. So in cloud we have also. So if I can show you a one glance picture, what cloud engineer needs to have, or what is the basic requirement after cloud, like you need to know about little bit about networking, about containerization, virtualization, DevOps and APIs. These are the different technologies. Most of them you know already. But cloud is the one. The cloud, apart from other engineers, cloud engineer is the one who is being able to deal with different type of technologies, different type of departments. So he must know the basics of almost everything. So he can communicate with different parties. For example, they will be dealing with IT, they will be dealing with database guys, they will be dealing with the programmers and everyone. So they should have a basic understanding of all these technologies. At least these are the building blocks for the cloud engineer. So the courses are coming, and really appreciate that. Okay, so let me jump to the Huawei cloud platform. Thank you, Samuel. Welcome. Okay, so let me know when the screen is visible to you.
The screen is up now.
Okay, it's visible now.
Yes.
Thank you. So that was a console for Huawei Cloud. It was taking time to load. So now you can see right now I have 5 security groups are running, 4 VPCs are running, 1 in Hong Kong, 3 in Singapore. So it's you can say one platform which is showing everything. Now the same thing which I show you services. So here you can see, if you click on service list, you see same services but in a different fashion. But one thing you can manage to note that number of services in AWS is much higher. Definitely, AWS is being in the field for last 10 years, so they have more number of services. But Huawei has almost every services normally which offices are using. So if you go for the compute, where you can see Elastic Compute Service, that is same like EC2. Name can be changed, but the concept is same. Like Elastic Cloud Server is your computing resource or VM, something like that. Here in Huawei, we call it Elastic Cloud Server. In AWS, we call it EC2. Maybe in Google, we call it VM. So name can be changed. Auto scaling is something which helps into building a parallel setup as per your use case. And we were discussing about Kubernetes. So here, where in AWS, we call it EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Server. Here we have ECS. The name are different according to the use case. If you don't know the name, you can even search for it. Containers. Cloud Container Engine, CCE. Cloud Container Engine is the same service which we are having here in Kubernetes. Oh, sorry, in AWS. Sorry. If I click on Elastic Kubernetes services, what is required for a cloud operation associate? Okay, so Peter, that is a very good question again. First of all, you need to know the basics of cloud and then how cloud is working and how do you manage all. For example, it's same like a IT engineer, which normally helps companies to build to run the network. Maybe he mostly involved in the troubleshooting and helping customers to run their business or their services. Same, the cloud operation engineer or the operator is the one who helps customer to run their services. For example, this is service Elastic Kubernetes Service, EKS, which is responsible for managing your Kubernetes clusters. So you don't need to build your Kubernetes cluster. Amazon, AWS will build for you, and they will manage. You just start building containers and everything. So all the cluster related tasks, the management tasks will be done by our AWS. Same is CCE, that is container engine for in Huawei. The name could be different, I just told you. So now we can have although we put the question answers in the end, but you keep on asking question, that is very good. So still, if you want to ask question, you can open your mic. I would request Mr. Kimi so he can allow you, and you can ask questions. And before ending this, I'll show you one slide. Just Daniel, I think you have asked something. So what is your question? What is the distribution? I am Daniel Dimola. I use my account. I'm using my account. My name is. Okay, man. Got man, no issue. So that is all from my side. And if you want to get in touch with me, you can follow me on LinkedIn. Here's the link. You can scan the QR code, and definitely you can ask question. I would again request Mr. Kimi to allow you if you want to ask by speaking, or maybe you can ask by sharing your comment over here. So I'm available for next 10-5 minutes. You can ask.
Okay, thank you very much for that wonderful section. That was really a deep dive. I can see that some of us must be well informed now about cloud computing technology, even though the time, I know if we give him more time, he will really go far. Just this weekend, he's going to be having a boot camp. So he's a teacher, as you can see. He's a teacher and he's also teacher joining with engineer, you know how it will be. So as a teacher and as an engineer, yeah, if time is given to you, you'll be able to do justice to whatsoever topic is given to you. So thank you very much for that wonderful section. Please, just as you said, if you have questions, please ask your questions. Just let us know. You can raise your hand and then you will unmute. Okay. Ibrahim, Mohammed, please ask your question before we go into conclusion. Can you ask your question?
Okay, my question is actually based on the data that is the storage of the cloud computing. So, like you said, when using
Sorry, Brian. Can you speak again because initially your voice was broken? Sorry, the session is a little bit far because most of the things need to be covered. But definitely,
Okay.
cloud is whole universe. Kemi, it takes like days to conclude all that things about the cloud. Now, I would again request Mr. Ibrahim if you can read again question.
Okay, my question is on storage. That is the data. So let's assume I'm using a multi-cloud computing. Then I'm sharing the resources. Let's assume the AWC or GCP. I'm sharing my resources 50-50. Then let's assume there is breakdown on the GCP. Do I lose control of my data that is in the GCP, or is there any way to retrieve data lost from the cloud?
Okay, that's a good. Yes, Ibrahim. So let me start with one cloud, then I'll come to your question about two clouds. If even if I save a single file on Google Cloud, automatically it's make 3 copies of it. Maybe I can add this number to 5 or 6 or 7, but normally it makes it 3 copies, one in the same region, one in a different region, and one in the another availability zone. For example, Google has one data center in San Francisco, and one is in London, and one is in Washington. For example, something happens in San Francisco, and then the data is lost or something, a fire erupt or something, whatever. So your data will be saved onto 2 locations. You can easily get the copy of it, and sometimes that is so fast, then even you don't recognize that something bad has happened. Okay, so now come to the 2 cloud scenario. Like if I'm building an application or a infrastructure, and I'm putting my data 50% in AWS and 50% in Microsoft, whatever the AWS or Azure, whatever. So maybe this is the best planning to replicate the same set on the both location, or maybe you can do one thing like, for example, I have a website of blog or something. So what I would do, I would put half my data on one cloud for a certain region. For example, I put 50% of my services on AWS for America, and 50% of the service for America is on Azure, and same for the other vendor, like for Alibaba, I put 50% for China on Alibaba, 50% for the AWS. So that is all depend upon your planning and definitely upon the cost. The more redundancy you add, the more amount of money you need to spend. It's same like configuring your laptop. For example, I have a laptop which allows me like 8 GB RAM. Maybe if I want to increase my RAM, what would I do? I would put another laptop, or maybe I would upgrade my laptop because my laptop doesn't have another slot to add one more RAM. So, but if I were purchasing some laptop which is on the higher side, it has capacity of adding more RAM slots or number of RAMs. So definitely the cost would be on the higher side. But the question is very much appropriate according to the common life. Normally it happens. Sometimes the bad things happen. Sometimes downtime is there. But always we have the backup available. Sometimes that backup is so fast, even the customer don't face that outage for us. So again, that's good question. So another one want to ask. So I hope I have answered your query.
Okay. Ibrahim, hope your question was answered. From the last statement, as you can hear that there is a level of redundancy that comes from backup. So from your backup, you should be able to restore back to services without even too noticing the loss. Okay. Tochiku asked a question. He said, "Are there availability zones outside of Asia, in Africa, maybe?"
So I am Habiba for class. Starting. I'll do the connectivity. Sure, Peter. I would love to have you. What a productive session. What was the question? Sorry. Are there availability outside the Asia and Africa?
Okay,
Maybe
it's
okay.
2:15. Yes.
John has a one good question. I can see one more here, Rand Hayes. So I would be very quick to answer. Actually, the availability zone depending upon the network, upon the vendor. Like China, I give you example of China for Huawei. Huawei have mostly regions in the China, but AW has different region. Even they have one in South Africa, sorry, and some in Middle East. You can just find on Google AWS region. You will get to know all the information. Like you will find GCP regions. You will get to know all the region, all the information. Kimi, if you allow one more question, I guess from someone has raised the hand. Or we can just end the session.
All right. He actually asks, the question is here, which provider has best solution for small business or businesses?
Okay. Again, this is very, you can say, a challenging question because it all depends upon your requirement. But what I can give you the answer according to the, you can say, real world examples. Like GCP is more focused on containerized app. AWS has variety of applications. And Azure is more toward the software side, and they are more toward the American industry and European industry. Huawei, Alibaba, they are more focusing Chinese-based applications. So it depends upon your customer, according to your use case and according to your cost. Normally, prices are almost same because if someone is charging you $10 per hour, another one is charging you 10.5, so that doesn't make any difference. Maybe they are charging you $9, but they are asking you $100 upfront. So cost is almost same for because they are doing business. If the cost difference is very high, so people will move to that cloud. So the cost difference are almost same, but the availability of features and different aspects, support contexts are different. They are being. This is the duty of solution architect. He will decide and he will tell you that which service is best for you. For example, if I say if you want containerized, you should go for GCP. If you want some software-based application, you should go to the Azure. If you want to some work for AI or something, AWS is best on it. Or big data is mostly applications of big data are being very good at GCP. So that is a very good and challenging question. Again, thank you for the
Hi.
asking.
I
Hello.
would like to continue with your answer. Is there something related to the region that is to be considered when choosing the provider? That for some regions, some providers are better, or it's like equal for all the regions and all the providers?
Yes, that's also right because some operators they are more focused. Just as I told you earlier that Azure is and AWS are they are more focused on the American industries. whereas Huawei, Alibaba, Baidu, they are more focusing on Chinese market or the Korean market or Japanese on side, on the eastern side of the world. So you do consider the region, because if I'm building an application and I know my customers are from Asia, so I would not be thinking to deploy my application on some London server or some New York server. I would build that server in my closest region, that is Abu Dhabi or Middle East or something. So that's a
Does it
good
also
question.
go for the, I mean, career advice? Like people from these regions should consider focus more on those clouds which are more prominent in their region, or they can go for all studying all of them.
That is, yes, you are again right on that part as well, because like you go for that technology which is available to you. So basic networking, basic cloud should be available for everyone, but the technologies which are in your country, in your area, you should more focus on it. For example, if I say in my country, uh, uh, programming and software houses are more flourishing, so more people are will move toward the IT industry. But if my country is more toward the industry side and mechanical side, the people will be more tilted toward the industries, mechanical and industrial sides. So that's all depend upon demography, use case, and how country is progressing, how that region is. You see mostly people of petroleum, they go to the Middle East because there the market is very rich over there. Mostly oil producing countries are in the Middle East region, that is Gulf region, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, and then these countries, the UAE is something. So mostly the petroleum engineer from different part of country world, they move to the Middle East side. But when it comes to the software side, they mostly go to the Silicon Valley and something, because they are the main hub. And for the manufacturing, mostly people go to the Chinese industry. But now in Africa and the Middle East, in the Asia, especially this South Asia, and they are the developing industries, the softwares industry, especially after the cloud, because you can work from everywhere. I know many people, they are living in their country or even their villages, and they are working in Silicon Valley. They are working for a US client. They don't need to go to that uh, area and just earn money. They are earning in dollars by sitting in the couch of their bedroom, and they are working for a UK based client or US based client or the Germany based client. So that is one more advantage of the cloud or technology.
Okay,
So
thank you so much.
thank you.
That
You're
was
welcome.
the question.
Thank you again. Thank you, Jimmy. I would like to thank you again for all of you. You can connect me on the LinkedIn. And over to you, Mr. Kimmy.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. What a productive session indeed. Thank you so much. I think now some of us should be well informed about our chosen careers. If you are going into networking, you know by now that cloud is the future. So you need to really position yourself well so that you take advantage and you will not be at disadvantage when cloud takes over. Though it's taking over already, but that does not mean that networking in general will be off the grid. So the best is to see how you can synergize and learn the skill of cloud computing, and also, of course, the networking, just as we said, for those that are going into cloud, you have to know that networking also, you need the knowledge. So at the ICT Academy here in FUT MINA, we also have some of the courses that will help you prepare and give you that knowledge, that basic knowledge you need. We have the HCIA Datacom, who has vast knowledge on IP technology. So once again, thank you so much, Engineer Bashir. You've done so much. I think if we have to give you a medal, you are worthy to receive one, because we get to learn from you, and it's an opportunity and a great privilege. So just as I said, please connect with him. He's a very free man, and you can see so most of us are young here. He's also a young man. So it will be good. Connect with him, and I am sure when you send a message, he will not reject your messages. Of course, you have to do that with discreet, not that you abuse the opportunity. But as far as you attended this meeting, you can just introduce and say, hey, I attended the 360 deep dive into cloud computing technology. I would like to connect with you. So follow him, connect with him, and get his counsel, get all that you can get from him.
I have an idea. You just shared. You can connect me definitely on the LinkedIn, and
Okay.
you can take a picture of that. I think we can have a quick picture of all together. If anyone can open their camera, so we can have a picture,
A picture.
and then you can post it on LinkedIn. And what have you learned? If it is beneficial for you, then give a shoot out on a LinkedIn or Facebook, whatever the medium you are following.
Okay, please can we, all right, please can we open our cameras so I can take a picture and smile. Try to smile.
Just
so
a minute.
Before we take, please. Okay, I'm trying to make, sorry.
And even I started looking. There are few notification pop up on my mobile. I can see that few people has joined me on LinkedIn as well.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Come in. Maybe it will be okay. I think some are not really showing. Can we have maybe you should end the presentation so I can have the whole so I can use your space because we have more people. Okay. Okay. I think we've taken enough, right? Presenting, right? Okay, I'm trying to even adjust it here. It's not working. Okay, Engr Bashir, are you still there?
Yes. Yes,
Please, okay, end the presentation. You can end the presentation so I can have a bigger space. Yeah.
Yes, I'll stop. Yes,
Yeah.
I'll stop.
This is better.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good.
So please, can we open our cameras? I can see the handsome faces, beautiful faces. Oh, awesome, awesome. This is good. Please, can we smile? Smiling is free. Let's smile, please. Some are okay. Maybe. Oh, all right. We're having more people open. Okay. Two more. I want to take two more.
Let's wait for a minute. Yeah, that's look good.
Please come on, open. Let's open. There are some that are yet to open here. Okay. All right. I think that is fine. Thank you so much. Please don't go yet because we still have some activities. We'll have the quiz session. We're going to be having a quiz session where we'll have to give data incentive, internet data incentive for the Nigerians. So this basically is for the Nigerians. So it will be your lucky moments to grab one of the, we just have 5 people that we're going to award the data to. But before then, before we go into that, please, can we have, we'll just have a brief remark from the instructor. Engineer Raphael Agbola is our instructor here in FUT MINA. a very committed engineer indeed. He's also our, just as the name implies, he's our instructor. He's our teacher here also at the academy. So, sir, thank you for giving Engineer Bashir the opportunity to teach on your platform. Thank you very much, sir. Over to you, sir.
Mm. Mm.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll quickly go into the quiz session. It's going to be 10 minutes. So in the process of the quiz, and it's going to be timed. So after 10 minutes, you won't be able to